Hey guys, it's Bisa. Today I wanted to do something a bit different. I've seen a lot of videos with people talking about confidence, and I thought I'd tell like my story. This is really hard for me to do because first of all, I don't know, I was just feeling really like I really wanted to do this video, but at the same time it's like I don't want everyone to know my business because there's some things that I've never told anyone, so it's going to be difficult, but I thought it was important to do it because I think that the other videos I've seen have really helped other people, so I'm hoping that this will help someone else. Okay, so I just wanted to start and kind of it's kind of like my life story in a way, or life so far. Okay, so when I was growing up, I was always kind of like, apparently when I was a kid I was really kind of confident, and I used to dance a lot, and I used to be kind of like a performer, like at like parties, like when my parents used to take me to like their parties or whatever, I'd be like on a dance floor just dancing the whole night and stuff. And I remember being at school and just like being really popular, like this is in the infants, and just having loads of friends, and it wasn't really an issue, but I guess at that time, at that age, you don't really think about that kind of thing anyway, you just play. But I was very confident, I was like, had loads of friends. Being shy wasn't really kind of an issue. Like my mum used to make my clothes and stuff. I always used to have really cool clothes, and they were like custom made, and they were kind of, it was just kind of, you know, cool. And but I remember one time, I think this was like a few years later, like when I got to the age of like 8 years old, I remember these two boys would just kind of like the whole day they were dancing around me and like calling me fatty, and like they were pointing at my belly, and I remember thinking, I'm not fat, but I had kind of developed a bit of a pot belly, like loads of kind of small kids do. But I just remembered them, like the whole day they were singing this song. To be fair, it was quite a funny song, but still, it's like, you know. And I think it was like, hey fatty boom boom. Yeah, it was funny at first, and then like as the day got on, it was like, hang on, this is actually embarrassing. And then so I think that's when it started, like that seed, and slowly I just started to get, I started to put on more weight. And when I remember going into juniors of that school, like, so when I got to like 9, I remember playing like PE and stuff, and like every time it was my turn to do something, like people would just, I remember the boys just kind of laughing their heads off at me and calling me fat and stuff. And slowly my confidence was really starting to get more and more diminished, kind of thing. And I remember I changed schools in London, and it was better, like the attitude of the kids were better, like they didn't tolerate any bullying whatsoever in that school. Our Lady of Lourdes school, it was a really good school. They didn't tolerate any bullying, but still this it already started, like the self-consciousness and feeling like, you know, just a bit like kind of rubbish about myself, basically. That started, and it was kind of like, by that time I'd kind of already started to believe the negativity and the negative things that I'd heard. So I remember there was a time I had a school photo done, and I did a massive smile, like a really like cheesy kind of grin, and I remember like people laughing at it, and from that day I just thought, I'm never smiling again. And it's really sad, but like basically from then I didn't really smile. I kind of like, if I had a photo taken, I'd literally do like a half smile, like not even, I didn't want to show my teeth ever. Like I was so kind of just so insecure. As it got on, I just got more and more shy, to the point where it was really unhealthy. Like when I used to go somewhere, I remember feeling like so ugly that I actually, it was like to the point where it wasn't even like, oh, I feel sorry for myself, I'm so ugly. It was to the point where I felt sorry for other people for having to see me. Like I felt like I was some sort of monster. Like it was really extreme. It was really bad. Like I actually thought I was hideous and kind of disgusting. And I used to just, I remember walking into like, and I always used to attract a lot of attention, and I remember hating it so much, like just hating the fact that people would notice me, and I just felt so hideous. And like I'd stopped smiling, I'd stopped like just feeling comfortable. If anyone spoke to me, I'd think they wanted something from me. I remember one of my friends saying to me, oh, like, I think you're really pretty, and I just went, thanks. Like it wasn't even like I was like, oh no, I'm not. Like I never used to do that, because I thought she was actually saying it because she felt sorry for me, and I hated that feeling of like someone pitying me that much that they needed to lie to me. So I just remember it being like me just literally being like, thanks. And then she went, no, really? I went, yeah, thanks. Like I didn't want to hear it anymore. It was like, it was that bad. Like I thought people were just pitying me. It wasn't like all bad. Like I had a small group of friends, 3 girls who we used to hang out together, and I remember they helped me a lot because they didn't really care about what other people thought. It was kind of like, it was kind of nice, it was liberating to be around them, but still on my own I felt like I was kind of, I don't know, just I started to feel really worthless basically. As I got older, I moved to Brighton and things got worse for me, like oh yeah, and also I got glasses at the age of 9, which did not help things. So I just remember feeling like hideous all the time. And okay, so when I went to we moved to Brighton, this is much later, when I was about 13, and things got a lot worse. Like I basically, in the transition between moving schools, I'd lost my glasses, and without them, I don't know if people who wear glasses who are short-sighted will know what I mean, but there's a sense that you just like, you know when someone's, you know who someone is, but you can't see their face properly, so you can't see whether they're looking at you or looking behind you, or you know, there's just that insecurity that you don't have that certainty that, oh hi, like you can wave at someone. And so I used to kind of squint, and people basically, I got this reputation, and bearing in mind I just moved school, so I understand why people were like that, but I just got this reputation from being unfriendly basically. And it was really hard to start a new school feeling how I did, and then everyone think I was horrible as well. And it was just really difficult in those circumstances, how I felt about myself, to also be labelled as unfriendly and stuck up, which is like the opposite of what I was, because I actually felt really crap about myself. But okay, so time passed, blah blah blah, and it just got to the point where I remember there was this guy that I really liked, and he was a cool guy. He still is a cool guy. I'm like, you know, he's still around and he's like a nice guy, but I really I developed a crush for him, and like I remember my friends being like, oh, like he really likes you and stuff, and I was like, no way, blah blah. And then slowly, after a while, when people keep saying stuff like, oh, I think he likes you, I started to think, oh, okay, well maybe if everyone's saying it, all these people believe it, maybe it is true. And I remember he found out about it, and basically I had to stand there while he like called me over and then explained to me how he thought I was a really nice person, but like wanted to be just friends, blah 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 blah. And I just remember literally like my heart breaking inside. I was like 13, 14 or something, but I just remember feeling like, this is because I'm ugly, this is because he thinks I'm ugly and he thinks I'm fat. I remember like all this feelings of self, like being unworthy, just kind of brimming up inside, and just being overwhelming, and like just so disappointed that like I'd actually allowed myself to believe that, okay, maybe there is a chance that someone would like me. And anyway, from that basically, I remember there was a time basically I stopped eating altogether. Like I literally used to eat just dinner, so I'd starve all day. And I remember one time me and my friend went to get a hot dog, and we went to the hot dog stand, and then afterwards we were like, I was like, why did I do that? Why did I break my starvation? And we were just joking. We said, oh, let's go and throw it up, kind of like a joke. And we both went to the toilet, and like I think I pretended that I did. I didn't actually do it. But I remember afterwards feeling like, hang on, I can literally reverse by eating and throwing it up. That means I don't have to starve all day. I can eat and kind of kill two birds. So that's where it started. I started to become bulimic. But the thing is, I wasn't one of those people that would stuff my face and then throw up. I'd literally eat nothing. I'd eat like a sandwich and then throw that up. So I was living on nothing basically. And I remember like the thing that made it worse is that all my friends, and bearing in mind all my friends that I hang out with in school, high school, were really pretty and really popular, and I was kind of like the tag-along friends, not in their eyes, but I felt like the tag-along ugly friend who was friends with all the guys, who'd put in a good word for the girls kind of thing. And I remember one of them saying to me, oh my gosh, you look so good, like you've lost so much weight, you're tiny, like I love your figure. And I was just like, that was like the first time I think I'd heard someone say they loved my figure. And from that it just made me think, well, if this is so bad, why am I getting so many compliments? It must be good. And that's kind of where it started. So it kind of stemmed from the guy that I liked, but that was really an excuse. Like I just needed an excuse. Like I blamed, I kind of just targeted that as a reason, but it wasn't, you know, it wasn't his fault basically. Obviously it wasn't. But anyway, so I started not eating, I started like throwing up, and it got really bad to the point where I didn't have to stick the back of my toothbrush in my throat anymore. I could literally just drink loads of water, tense my muscles, and it would all come out. And it got really bad. It went on for about 3 months. Then my mum found out, but she didn't really know how to handle it, so she was just like, right, I'm getting you help, blah blah. I went to the doctors. It was all so embarrassing, all so traumatic, and just I wanted to forget it. And so I stopped going to the toilet after I ate. But the thing is, I didn't realise till afterwards that it actually was a few years before I actually stopped, because it became an involuntary thing where I didn't want to do it anymore, but I would be there and I'd eat something and it would literally, like, I'd have to be sick. Like, even if I kind of tried to ignore it, eventually I'd have to be sick. And I think this went on for like a few years afterwards, even kind of more subtle, because like you know, it's muscle memory. Your body remembers that, okay, this is what you do when you eat, kind of thing. So anyway, there was that. Alongside that, there were other things, like at school. You know how boys can be at school, and like these are people who are meant to be my friends. They were my friend. It's high school, so you can't really blame people, and we were really young. We were like 14, 15 at the time, but I remember they were rating all the girls out of 10, and all my friends got like 8, 9, 10 for different categories, and I remember getting like 3 out of 10, and like there's always someone that will tell you that you got 3 out of 10, and I just remember feeling like, you were meant to be my friends and you were like rating me, and you were like sitting there laughing and saying basically that for looks I'm 3 out of 10. And I just remember feeling like it was like, that was like my life kind of thing. I just remember feeling like, well, this is how it is always for me, and it was really hurtful. And now I get upset, not because I feel like, oh, woe is me, like I'm so kind of poor me. I get upset because I know there are other people who get that feeling and who haven't gone past it. And every time I think about that, I think like, if I wasn't as strong as I was, like, I don't know how I would take it. And I know that there are people who go through that, who feel how I felt, and I can really feel the pain, because it's horrible. It's horrible to wake up and feel like that about yourself.